What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of The Three View. Today, we are joined by Bozeman Icedogs head coach Mike Perkins. How's it going?
Great, Britt. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. So, we'll just kind of kick things off here. So, last year, you guys finished just a few points shy of making it to the playoffs. What was that experience like, and how can you channel that into motivation, for this upcoming season?
Yeah, obviously it's tough to be that close and then not make a spot. I think our guys put a lot of work into the season, and we were a fairly young and inexperienced team last year. So, you know, I think there's a recipe to getting into the playoffs on a consistent basis, and one of those is having some experience. And we didn't have a whole lot of that last year. So for us to win 26 games last year, that was quite a feat. I felt like we had a good campaign, and we're excited about what we can build off for the future.
Yeah, you guys had definitely some fun games to watch last year, that's for sure.
Oh, there
And
was
that
some back and forth. There was some back and forth.
There definitely was, especially on Friday nights in the Frontier when you guys are like the last games going, I can always tune in. There's something good happening.
Yep.
And what do you think as the biggest takeaway from that 2024-25 season?
Experience is paramount, and we feel like that's where we're headed now. We're going to return probably 10 to 12 players from last year's team. They're going to really help out the young guys coming in. And, to me, that's how you win in the NA3 is with some experience, and a little bit of age too helps. So I think, that's, we feel good about where we're at right now as of end of July, going into August. And,
Mhm.
we're, it's, we're excited about what we have coming.
And when you look at those 10 to 12 players that you are returning, are there any players that stick out to you that maybe didn't have so much of a leadership role last year that could maybe transition into more of that this year?
Yeah, well, there's a whole group of guys, both up front and on the back end. I'll just start from the back end out. Jack Ryan is returning, who was our 1A, 1B with DeVincent last year, and
Mhm.
Jack had a really good first year, and we're excited to get him back. On the defensive side, Michael Rich and Preston White and Seth Hansen are returning on the back end. They were all top six guys, and they're going to bring a lot of experience up front. Some guys that really didn't, were kind of new to it. The Matthew Stamps, the Sam Trufonts, the Reed Wilkinsons, the Barrett Beckers, the Ryan McCreary's, there's a whole list of guys in there that are really important. So that if they have good seasons now after learning to play junior hockey last year, we're going to be in a good spot.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we kind of dive more into your roster, you had 10 players last year who were from Montana. How does that play an impact in the community, knowing that you get to showcase that local talent?
Well, first of all, we don't need as many billets. So,
That's true.
obviously that's a huge piece to it, but for sure, I think Montana is a place where they love their own, and we're really kind of playing off of that. And I think all the other teams in our division in Montana have played off that as well. They've
Mhm.
recognized that we have some talent here in Montana. Some of it needs to be developed a little bit more from where it's at, to have an impact at the NA3 level. But we're proud to develop our own here in the state, and of course developing within our own community of Bozeman and the surrounding area, whether it's Bozeman, Belgrade, Livingston, and the Gallatin Valley. We're really proud to develop our kids that are right here, homegrown.
And what do you think that's like for the younger players in those communities to kind of have the junior players to look up to and kind of have a goal like, okay, this is something that I can attain to, right here in my own backyard?
Yeah, well, we do. We have at least 3 to 5 practice players every year with kids from around the state that are coming in, every other week, once a month to check us out. And we have a pretty good beat on all the players across the state that'll be looking to play junior the following season. So we will have practice players. Typically it's kids from Bozeman and Belgrade or Livingston that do it here with us, but I know other teams are doing it as well here in our division. And I think it just lends a lot of credit to everything that we're doing within our Montana pod. we're excited about growing our own talent here. But for sure, the young kids see that. They come to our games and they know that our guys are, kids that are playing varsity are around coming to practice.
Hmm.
And they want to do that themselves. And I have plenty of phone calls and in-person meetings with parents and players that are here locally every summer, and they're all excited to try to advance to the next step. And for a lot of them, that means the NA3.
Right. And as we look at, one player specifically, Lex Stuckleberg, he really took a giant leap from year one to year two with the Ice Dogs. What does that say about, the process of development that you guys have in place, and how rewarding is it for you to see, again, a local player, produce at this level?
Yeah, well, Stecky's homegrown. He's done a great job. He works his butt off, and he's a great character person. But I think even if you asked him, he'd tell you that a lot of his development comes from the other guys on the team, and he's really bought into our full program and process here. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, his two line mates, Devin Bruns and Andrew Countess. That's between the three of them. I think they had close to 75 goals last year. So,
Mhm.
that's a big group, and we'll see if we keep them together or not this year. That remains to be seen. But, Lex has proven that, but he's not the first.
Right.
Bodie Shepherdson and Spencer Wilkinson and Lex Stuckleberg, and then the next ones are Michael Rich and Reed Wilkinson, and those are Bozeman kids, and even the Montana kids like Sam Trufant and Seth Hansen, guys that are from Montana that are going to be very good NA3 players, and we're excited to watch them grow.
And in addition to, their line mates helping them out, what do you think is the biggest piece for you as a coach development wise that helps these players, make that jump?
Oh, I mean, it's funny because I've been talking to a lot of parents lately. So, the hockey part's the easy part. It's getting your life in order so that you can perform and produce when you step foot on the ice. That's the tough part. Everybody
Mhm.
comes from different backgrounds and different life situations, and it's if you can put your personal life together when you step foot on the ice, the development comes easier. Yeah, do we believe that we have the right process and program to make that happen? Yeah, it's proven. We've already proven that. We won 105 games in 4 years since I got here, and we feel like we're on track with what we're supposed to be doing here in Bozeman.
And as we flip forward to this current season coming up, what do you think is the biggest thing that you guys are going to need to do besides, starting things off on the right foot to get back to the playoffs?
I think it's all a process, and we got to believe in that process. And it's not, a lot of people say, "Oh, you got to win, you got to win." Well, listen, to win, you got to do things the right way. And I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater to just win a hockey game. We have a process, and my goal is to be playing our best hockey late in the season. And if that means we got to take a few lumps early in the year, so be it.
Mhm. And is there any ones or any dates you have circled on your calendar that you're super excited for?
Oh, I think everybody, you know, it's we have a good competitive balance through our division, but most definitely when we kind of have two pods in our division. We have the South Dakota Wyoming pod, and then we have the Montana pod.
Mhm.
And clearly the Montana pod, from a rivalry standpoint, that's where it's at. And of course, anytime we play Butte, Great Falls, Helena, those are big games. Home or away, doesn't matter. We have our fans that travel to their buildings and their fans that travel to our building. So, and I think the good news is we keep building off of that year after year, and it's those are the games that we all circle for sure.
Awesome. Well, we're excited to see what the Ice Dogs do this upcoming year, and thank you so much for hopping on this call.
Thanks, Britt.